But Pete, tell me, what year did you start contracting the rodeo there in Western Pecos?
Western Pecos, it was 2005, I believe. 2004, I flew out there, met with their committee. Um, it's funny that we're kind of looking at stock contractors to make a change, and we flew out there for a meeting. And I walked in their community center, and there was about 50 people in there, and they just kind of said, "Okay, Pete, tell us a little bit about yourself." And at that point, I really hadn't put on any rodeos to speak of, PRCA rodeos by myself, and so I kind of didn't have a whole lot of faith that I was probably going to get selected, but fortunately enough, they selected us, and we got to put on the rodeo in the next year.
This is the world's first rodeo, so that's the history. This is 141 years. It's pretty special.
Yeah, you hear about it when you're in the Western industry and growing up, and, watching everything on TV and listening to all the stories, Pecos, west of the Pecos, west of the Pecos. And to be the stock contractor there putting it on, it's humbling to stand in that arena and be around all those people that've been there for generations. Their family's been there, generation after generation. And it's kind of instilled in them. It's part of their blood, and it's extremely special.
We talk about that. We're the chairman of the rodeo committee is Clay Ryan McKinney, and he is a fourth generation to be the chairman of that rodeo committee. So this goes back a very long time in that family and many others.
Yeah.
What is the best part of what you do when you get to Pecos? Because you guys tend to really put on a show. That's the main thing you're there for.
Yeah, well, it's the community, the people, the committee. They're not a big committee, but they eat, sleep, and breathe it, and they really care about the rodeo, and they put 150% of their effort into the rodeo every year, and it shows. They've grown from when I started there, 2005, they've grown. They added money to sponsors. They have a appreciation dinner for all their sponsors. They give added money's gone up. They give extra bonuses each night to all the contestants, and it's just a wonderful rodeo to be a part of.
It gets hot out here in the West Texas, but your animals seem to perform pretty well. Dirty Jackets won that rodeo 6 times in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I kid people all the time and tell them that I have worn a jacket at Pecos. So, it does get hot, but it's as they say, it's a different kind of heat. But they have a lot of unique things where they have the sprinkler systems along the top rails of the pens where you keep our animals. We keep them watered. They've got a lot of shade. So they help us a lot to take care of our animals so they'll perform better.
Being an overall stock contractor, you care just as much about the kind event cattle as you do for your rough stock. Why is that so important to you?
Well, actually, a lot of the rodeos I put on are more timed event people, and so they care more sometimes about the timed events than the rough stock. So it's all equally important. We want all the contestants to have the best shot they can at winning. So we make sure all the cattle are as even as possible. We get them from the highest quality people. We bring one for everyone. We bring walking fresh calves for Pecos every year. It's just kind of a tradition. So we do everything we can on our end to hope that the contestants will have the most favorable outcome.
They like to have their hometown events, and you work well with that committee to make sure that the hydrates and the wild cow milk and the other things that they have going on are part of your show.
Yeah, it's outstanding to watch the community come together and the local people get involved in the rodeo and integrate with the PRCA contestants and all the events. And it's just a wonderful experience. People plan their vacations around them. They have reunions in Pecos. All the families come out to the rodeo, and it's been going on 147 years or whatever. So it's just phenomenal to be just a small part of that. A whole team.
Kind of wraps up your summer. You've been going pretty hard since May, and it's a good place to wrap up being at the World's First Rodeo.
Yeah, we wrap up in Texas there, then we go on to Oakley, Utah, and we have a big rodeo, 4th of July rodeo up there, and we put on extreme bulls there. So we get to go from one of the hotter places to one of the cooler places. So it's kind of a nice break for us.
All right. Thank you, Pete.
Thanks, Ted.